I would like to start this uh, webinar. So welcome everyone to BPW Goes Digital. This initiative is to bring BPW into a digital era, and all the presenters and speakers are young BPW members from across the world. The topic for today is social media for BPW, and the presenter is Tomi Odunsi-Fadima, who is a young BPW member from BPW Nigeria, who is also a young BPW representative from BPW Liki, Nigeria. Tomi is a graduate of linguistics, African and Asian studies from University of Lagos. Tomi is an award-winning actor, singer, and songwriter, and the CEO of CGT Media Limited, which is an internet-based creative digital communication and media company. Tomi has over a decade of experience in media and entertainment industry in Nigeria. She has been featured in numerous blockbuster movies and has played the lead on Africa Magic Tinsel, the biggest TV soap opera in Africa. Tomi has also featured in several musical theaters production in Nigeria, and she has shared the stage as a singer with the top local and international musicians. Her songwriting credit includes TV show theme songs, movie soundtracks, musicals, and all the songs in her Santa Cruz episode. Tomi has been featured on the top television, radio, and print publications across Africa. She is verified on social media, so we can just Google her and find more about her. With this, I would like to welcome our speaker, Tomi, and now the floor is all yours.
Thank you for the great introduction, Elima. And thank you all for your attendance and attention. So let's get right into the topic, social media for BPW PR. So let me ask, do you have any idea of your club's PR goals? What is PR? PR is simply the practice of creating and promoting and also maintaining goodwill and a favorable image among the public towards an institution or a public body. In the case of BPW going digital, PR may involve gaining high quality backlinks from websites and online publications and honest, hopefully good members' reviews online. There are different forms of PR. We have the popular one, which everybody knows, media relations, which is dealing with the media, writing press release, scheduling interviews, giving press conference, and generally creating a positive coverage of your club or federation's activity. We have CSR, that's corporate and social responsibility. When a company sponsors a BPW event or partners with, it improves the company's reputation for ethics, environmental responsibility, and community and charity works. A lot of people say, oh, why is this company, a company supporting NGOs should not bother about PR? They should, because it's about putting the best possible image out there to the public. We have public affairs as a form of PR. Public affairs is so important to BPW, especially on our advocacy level. When trying to make policies to favor women and girls, basically getting the government on our side when it comes to advocacy. We have community relations. Community relations is the relationship between the local community. There have been cases where a community would reject goodwill, and that's a function of bad PR. So in our works, in our projects where we deal directly with the community, it's important to have a good public PR, public relations amongst the community, so that they can accept your goodwill, the goodwill you're about to do in their community. It's very important to do that. Crisis management. When disaster strikes, things happen. that could ruin maybe BPW's reputation, for instance, crisis management is a form of PR that spins the issue quickly and finds something positive in there that could redeem the situation. We also have members PR. It's also called, in the business world, it's called internal PR or employee PR. It's giving members a positive view of the organization and keeping members satisfied, motivated, and loyal. It's very important to BPW. To the forms of PR, I discussed crisis management, employee slash members relations, corporate PR, public relations, and I think I have two more left. We have SEO. SEO is making sure that SEO is search engine optimization. So when you go on Google, you will see the search bar, and then you put in, for instance, BPW International Federation, a couple of links will come out. So SEO is a form of PR that helps an organization or institution like BPW to be seen in a positive light on the web space. So anything that you are posting, for instance, that is or any project that you're doing should be, you should ensure that you have backlinks and you have online media partnership so that you can have a better, a beautiful image online when people search for you. And then we have the popular one right now is social media. You know, gone are the days when social media was just for interaction and having friends over and just chatting. Now, major organizations, major institutions use social media to spread their message. It is now a very important social media PR tool. So it's important that whenever we are sharing our institution's message, it's important that social media should be one of the most important tool to use for PR. So when you're starting a PR campaign, for instance, you have to know the difference between these four words. You have to be able to define your goals, objective, strategy, and tactic. They are all different. A lot of people feel like they are just one, just have a goal and that's it. That's not it. It's, you have to know the difference between them. So what's the PR goal? PR goal is usually broad and long term. For instance, let's take BPW for instance. BPW International wants to replicate offline brand success to a global brand, for instance. That's an example of a PR goal. And then you ask, what's an objective? Objective is the desired achievement that will help the goal. And this, for instance, is to increase members' digital engagement and activities within 2 months, for instance. PR strategy will simply tell you how. How do we do this? How do we increase members' digital engagement and activities within 2 months? Then you can now say, for instance, you want to build capacity building for members on how to use social media as a tool for PR. How do we know that, how would we know that members can now use social media as a tool for PR? This is where tactics comes in. And this is where also hashtags and mentions are very important to your PR campaign. This is where you can measure and know how many people, for instance, you can say, I want to generate 1,000 hashtags by members using hashtag BPW goes digital on social media. And after your campaign, you can go back there and see how many people have posted See how many people have engaged with the hashtag. See how many people have mentioned BPW in their post. And with that, you can know that at least people are aware of the subject BPW goes digital, and or the subject social media for PR, and they're using it actively in their campaign. Here's another 20 points for you. Exercise. Identify which is a PR goal, objective, strategy, and tactic. 1A, generate hashtag by members using hashtag BPW goes digital on social media. Educate or capacity building for members on how to use social media as a tool for PR. Increase members' digital engagement and activities within 2 months. BPW International wants to replicate her offline success to a global digital brand. 20 points for you. I will give you just 1 minute to think about it. Lalima, please help me with the chat box. Anyone? I know you're saying the answers in your mind, but just type it as you're doing them. You're going to score yourself at the end of this training, so please, we want to see the highest highest score so far. So please
Just say you
participate
are
in the
BPW Malaysia.
Okay, what is, identify which is a PR goal, objective, strategy, and tactic. And the screen is, it's on your screen. Any comments so far? We might have to move quickly.
No.
No.
There is one.
Okay. That one?
No, there is one who says D, and another one says A, B, and C, and D. And there's another one with D, and one says D, C, B, A. So
no, the way to answer it is A is a PR goal, B is an objective, C is a strategy, D is a tactic. That's the way we would like to answer that. Anyone yet?
we still have more answers.
Okay,
Like
I will move on. While we're thinking about it, I would move on. But the point is 20 points, so you don't want to miss that. Social media for PR. Social media allows people link, share, interact, and, communicate information. All forms of PR can be achieved through social media. A well-rounded brand is one that should incorporate its communication of all the forms of PR through social media. So now the next step is to reflect on this. Reflect this in your social media page. The message. It's very important to know what message you want to pass. Define your message. What is the reaction that you're expecting? Do you want it to be reactive, or you want it to be responsive? Meaning that you want people to go back, reflect, and come back to you with an answer. What kind of emotion do you want to evoke? Do you want sympathy, empathy, fear or anxiety, anger, disgust or disapproval, excitement, or pride of association or achievement? You have to also define that quickly. What action do you want them to take online? Do you want them to buy something? Do you want them to download a file, a document? Do you want them to register for an event? Do you want them to attend an event? Do you want them to repost a flyer or something, or a message that you want to pass across? Do you want them to share it? Do you want them to watch a video of maybe your event's video? Do you want them to like or comment? It's important to define what action you want them to take. What is the duration? Is it going to be a long-term plan or a short-term plan? I always say that it's important that your brand value is communicated in the long term, so that, you know, in every message that you're putting across, it will have your brand values in there. But when it comes to smaller event, maybe a conference, an event, or a meeting or something like that, it's usually short-term PR planning, PR campaigning that you should do. If you look at the forms of PR, which of your objective is loud and which is subtle? So when it comes to communicating your brand value, because it's long term, you want to make it subtle so that in every post that you put up online, it's just there. People can perceive it just by your post. And if it's an immediate event or something that it's needs publicity, it's loud. That's when you call PR publicity, because it's loud and you want to get people, you know, on that high. So you target market. You need to define your target market when planning a PR campaign. Um, who are they? Who are your audience? What are their fears, aspirations, and dreams? What are they interested in online? It's important for you to know what they're interested in online. For instance, you're a BPW member, and on a beautiful evening, you are watching your favorite TV show, and on your phone just scrolling to see what is going on in the world, and you just see a notification of BPW meeting. You know, you will be more likely to click on it than when you are in a heated boardroom meeting. So we need to know what your interest is at the time, and the best way and time to talk to your audience. How best can they receive information, the information you want to share, in chunk size or in bite size? So for instance, if we use BPW Goes Digital as an example, this webinar is in bite size, because, you know, it may not be possible to have you learn everything in one day. So it's over time in bite size. How best can you get their attention? You also have to think about that. How do you engage them to get the best from your PR? Decide the tone and voice that resonates with your audience. Is it going to be informal, fun, and entertaining, or serious and very formal, depending on who your target market is? Another point, another exercise for you right here. 20 points. Guess the social media platform. Long, detailed, engaging video content, picture content or short videos on short, captivating captions, long episode, storytelling caption, or just picture content. So A, the social media platform, B, the social media platform, C, the social media platform, and D, the social media platform. Anyone, please. Nelima. Anyone in the chat box?
Yes, there's one Instagram, another one is saying YouTube and Instagram.
Okay. That's all for now.
And another one is Facebook, Instagram, Zoom, Pinterest.
Okay, the answer is long, detailed, and engaging video content is YouTube. Picture content, short video, and short captivating caption is Instagram. Instagram is better for short captivating captions. Long episode storytelling caption is Facebook. Facebook is great for that. Just pictures is Pinterest. So if you got it right, please be honest, score yourself 20 points. Content. There are different content formats that you can use to spread your PR message. And these are the formats. You can either entertain, inspire, educate, or convince or persuade. So you can either take either of these formats. Young BPW Lekki's Instagram page, we use the format inspire because we want to inspire young people to develop themselves um, to to be positive when it comes to do positive work when it comes to their society and contribute to the economy. So we inspire with influential women that have achieved so much despite our challenges in our country, and they've been able to strive for the best in what they do. So we inspire. We use the format inspire. It's important to also have a content calendar so that you can stay consistent with your message, and you can break it down, plan, schedule your PR message 3 months to 6 months ahead. Is very important for you to do so you don't get overwhelmed. Another 20 points to go. What content format is being used for this webinar right now? 20 points. Nelima, anybody?
Yeah. Educate, and now there is YouTube. Educate.
Educate?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Two educates. Two of them.
Okay. The answer is educate. So please score yourself 20 points. Even if you said it in your mind, you could score yourself 20 points. Social media platform. Decide which content best suits what social media platform. Decide which social media platform you want to find your audience. For instance, Facebook. Young people, on the contrary, visit Facebook, but they visit Facebook when they are going to maybe compare notes with their former classmates, or maybe reconnect with their primary school, secondary school, or high school classmates, and all the associations basically. So we use Facebook on the contrary. And the older generation are very big on Facebook, but they are more, they engage more on Facebook. So if you want to find young people, for instance, on Facebook, you have to go through alumni pages and probably check up on them personally to be able to write on their walls, to be able to get their attention. When it comes to the older generation, for instance, you can do the same, but you can add to it by interacting. Definitely when you post something, there is more interaction when it comes to Facebook than any other platform when it comes to the older generation. If using multiple social media platforms, decide what content goes where. It's very important. Like I said, the picture content alone goes to Pinterest. Long videos, really long videos go to YouTube. So people go there with the preparation, with the mindset that they're going to watch a long video, basically. 20 points. What is your preferred social media platform? This is a bonus. This is a bonus. You can type it in the chat box. 20 points. I think we have about 100 points now. And this is the last one. Don't worry. It's the last one.
There is one who uses between Instagram and Twitter. Another one is Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook, I'm a little older. And Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram.
That's great. Thank you very much, Nelima. Well done. So you can score yourself 20 points. This is the time where you can now calculate all your points, and you will let us know who got the highest points so far. How do you measure social media, your social media, PR on social media? How do you measure that? You want to focus on your campaign. It has to be more of campaign focused posts. So you want to know how many people saw the post, how many people engaged with it. Engagement in sense of how many people liked the page, how many people commented, how many people probably watched the video for over 50%, how many people followed you after you posted. Those are very important ways to measure. You also want to know who they are and where they are from. All this you can see on Instagram in the profile section, I think. Yes. Yeah, you can see that there. A lot of people ask me this. They often ask me this. What's the difference between online and offline PR? Online PR is easy to measure and sometimes cost effective, not all the time, depending on how far you want to take your campaign to. It requires authenticity and genuineness to build information, to build trust of information. As we all know, this is the COVID season, and there have been so many information flying on the internet. And to take action to anything, you have to trust the source of what information is true and is right and is authentic to be able to take action on anything online for now. Sensitive information must be carefully communicated online. We've seen cases of people coming to the public being reactive when something comes up and then eventually come out to apologize. We've seen careers ruined because of this. We've seen a situation where people might not be able to attend some events just because they've made some comment 10 years ago and that was dug up, you know, and they couldn't achieve anything because of that. So it's important to carefully communicate online. Offline PR is not as easy to measure and not so cost effective, but it's very effective in human one-on-one connection. And word of mouth can penetrate into places internet connectivities cannot reach, especially when it comes to our projects with the communities and and uh, and places where you have to go deep into the suburb where maybe there are no electricity or internet. So that's some of us reality, and we have to consider that as well. Finally, I will end with this. Online PR should not replace offline. They should complement one another. As you make your social media plans, as you make your social media PR plans online, ensure it reflects in your offline activities. So here is, what did you score yourself? Lelima, who is the highest? I know we didn't have a lot of people interact in this section, but we had some good number.
No, nobody has, written anything, but I think 100 for myself. Yes.
That's good. You can score yourself in your mind as well. It's valid. So
There's
okay.
60, and there's another one who says 20, just the bonus question. Yeah.
Thank you for being
And
honest. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thanks so much, Tomi, for that. And this is a lovely end shot, but if you'd now take it out of screen share, that would be great. Beautiful, though. And a beautiful presentation. Thanks so much for that. We're going to open it up now for Q&A or comments. So if you have a question or a comment, some of you look like your audio is not engaged, which means you didn't give your computer permission to use audio when you entered. So if you instead want to put a comment or a question in the chat, then Nilima and I will be trying to monitor that and contributing from that as well. But we want to open it up now, and we ask that everybody stay on mute if you're not the one speaking. If you would like to speak, so whoever is not on mute now, please mute yourselves. I'm going to mute you if I see that you're off mute, but we do ask that you mute yourselves, please. For some reason, yeah, well, there we go. Okay, so that's to cut down on the background noise. And if you find that you can't mute or unmute, that means your audio is not engaged, so you can put questions and comments in the chat as well. So I've got one person with their hand raised. Let me tell you about raise hand function if you didn't see it in the house rules. If you look at the bottom options on your screen, you'll find participants, which says we're 23 in the room right now. If you click on that, it will give you a pop-up box, which shows you more details. In the right bottom corner are 3 dots that will give you a little short menu, which is just a couple of items, and one of those is raise hand. And once you've spoken, please go back there and lower hand so that we don't think you're still waiting to speak. So first, I will ask Oma-san to jump in with your question or comment.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Ann, and thank you, Tomi, for the lovely, lovely presentation. I really enjoyed it. I learned so much. I didn't realize how important social media planning is. Is the presentation going to be made available? Because I would like to actually use it moving forward, like in my planning, especially for the Young BPW Nigeria page. And for other members to also have access to it, I would really love if that would be possible.
So I'm going to answer that. In the house rules, you will see that we do not make the presentation materials available because it puts the speaker on the spot. They feel they have to say yes. So we just have a rule to say, no, that's their intellectual property. On the other hand, this is being recorded. You may have noticed that at the top of the screen, and it will be on our YouTube channel for, if you just search Leadership in BPW, the name of this series. Sorry, this is another of my series. If you search BPW Goes Digital, you'll easily find the channel on YouTube. And it will be posted there probably within 24 hours at most. And if you want to do a screen grab or anything else of the materials, that's up to you, but we don't ask the speakers to directly share their materials. But we invite you all to share that recording. All right, we have a question in the chat, or question or comment. Louisa says, please advise where to find the BPW communications strategy and related social media plans. To be very honest, Louisa, I wish that existed. We don't actually have that. In the past, under various administrations, there have been various plans. We don't have a standardized plan, and it is actually a failing of BPW. And we're well aware of that, and there are teams that are working on that now. So hopefully coming soon. Who else would like to jump in with a question, comment, share a resource with the crowd? Nilima, do you have any questions or comments for Tomi?
Okay. So as I know that, in Nigeria, now all the activity, I know all the activities that you all have been doing there. So how do you think you can make it a lot better, and also, in a way that your work is being reported or posted in social media? Any other platforms that you're using besides Facebook and Instagram?
Thank you, Lenima. Like Omaso said, I think the best way to do that is to have a plan across board, and then it trickles down to the different clubs. So that is my suggestion for that. What the other social media platform that we use is YouTube. YouTube is one of where we share a lot of our event contents, seminars, and conferences. So it needs a lot more publicity and share, and participation of our members as well to spread the message. And this also has to do with members PR as well, where we are keeping people motivated and loyal and excited about the organization. So, and that's one thing we are currently working on.
Great. We have also another question in the comments section, in the chat section, and that is Zainab, who asks, how do I make it better through social media to convince our young BPW and also to find the communication strategy? So you did talk about communication strategies. I don't know if you want to add to that, but how can they use social media to, I think by convince, they mean to attract young BPW members, attract and engage. So how specifically to the young?
Basically, you have to come up with a strategy, depending on the kind of target market that you're target audience that you're looking at, that you're trying to target. We can't just come up with a strategy right now because there are different target audience in the audience right now. So you have to sit back and say, who is my target audience? Who is this PR for? Who is this message for? And then develop your strategy from there. And and then go with it. Communicate it with members and club representative if you want it louder than than just your immediate club. You want to spread it across the federation, for instance, and then they help to louden the communication. So I don't know if I answered it right.
You answered one part. There were two parts. The other was specifically about attracting young members. How to use social media to attract and engage young members. You've been talking about communication strategy.
So how do you use social media to engage young members? Okay, what do we want to do online? We want to be entertained. We want to be inspired. We want to learn a few things. So now that we know that you want to be able to create content that will do just that. So it's through content. For instance, you have an event, you have a BPW event, for instance. We want to see what people are wearing, as vain as that is. We're young. We want to, so that next time that we come to the event, we want to know what we are going to wear. Or you're planning an event, you want to be able to tell the people that, look, this is what you're going to benefit from this. So you also want to engage people by giving them a post-event content, by saying, okay, we went to this event and this was what was said. This is who came, and this is basically what I think about the event. And in that way, you are carrying the young members along, and they can see through your work what has been happening, even if they're not there. So basically, is creating content, waking up, thinking up groundbreaking ideas, groundbreaking content that can engage young people. And remember that our attention span is very short, so it has to be very well thought through and precise.
Maybe we want to grow that attention span, though. Okay, so I want to add to that and ask you, you mentioned that in fact young people do use Facebook. We often say that young people are not using Facebook, but they are not using Facebook in the way that middle and older generations are using, which is more comprehensive. So you're using it, generally speaking, for a very specific purpose, which doesn't really engage with BPW at all. It's alumni and that sort of thing. Would you say then that BPW affiliates really should have an Instagram account, for example? Since, as I understand, younger people tend to spend a lot more time on Instagram than on other platforms.
Yes, please. I believe that we should have Instagram handles. I believe that we should have platforms that we know that our members would be on. So for instance, if TikTok, for instance, most of our members are on TikTok, then we have to be on TikTok. Yeah, so that's.
But some of those are short-lived. Snapchat doesn't seem to be quite as popular as it was in the beginning. TikTok is enormously popular right now. Tomorrow, who knows? LinkedIn, of course, is for all professionals, and I know that women of all ages are there. I know a lot of younger women who are also very much engaged in LinkedIn. So that might be something that tends to cross generations more. We have another question in our chat. Again, Louisa, who was speaking before, or who had another question. Do you think that BPW's YouTube channel is a good means to reach our not so young members?
Yes, I think so. I think that it's something that, like I said earlier, you have to also know where your target market often goes. For instance, maybe the young moms or older moms like to go on YouTube to watch maybe their favorite shows. You want to be able to time it and say, okay, this is the time where I think that, also ask questions, do quizzes to get to know your audience better, to get to know your club members better, to get to know what they're reading, what they're watching right now, or what platform they often use, like I asked in the chat box, all that. It's important to know that so that you can channel your energy to the platform that will give you the most engagement.
Okay, so I think she was maybe wondering if all generations are going to YouTube, and I would say pretty much.
Yes.
People use YouTube at all ages, certainly by now. I don't have anyone else waiting to speak, and I'm going to open it up a little bit more to our audience, those of you who are actually connected audially anyway, or you can also use the chat if you're not, and ask all of you, what are your club or federations doing, clubs or federations, what is your club or federation doing for PR? How are they just using Facebook? Are they using other platforms? Are they using and maintaining a YouTube channel? What social media particularly are your clubs using, and in what ways? So anybody who wants to jump in and add something about what your club is doing for PR.
Hi, I'm happy to jump in.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, not enough in a word. I'm going to say honestly, I've been banging the drum for the last year, and I've been doing the bits and promoting different bits and bobs, but it's still very frustrating and far too slow in my view. Thank you.
Yes, in a lot of the posts that I personally did about today's program, I started it by saying BPW has a PR problem. We are 90 years old and in more than 100 countries, and how often do people tell us, BPW, what's that? I never heard of it. And by now, after 90 years, we should be universally known. So clearly we're not doing enough for PR at any level, and that's also international level. Someone put in the chat, Valerie, I think, who's in Singapore, mostly Facebook, we're sharing, well, she didn't say mostly. Facebook, we're sharing inspiring, oops, it just popped up. Inspiring educational articles. She adds more. Instagram, Singapore, we use it to showcase photos, pictures of the members, and inspirational quotes of empowering women. So it looks like they're using Facebook and Instagram especially, and maybe pretty actively. Anyone else want to share what your club or your federation is doing for PR, particularly on social media or anywhere online?
Hi.
Hi, Oma-san.
Yeah, so Young BPW Nigeria is on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook, but we mostly engage with Facebook more than any other platform. Yeah, so we share inspiring messages. We also engage on WhatsApp. We have our WhatsApp groups. So we use that. That is actually the most frequently used platform. So we share inspiring messages. We talk about what we're up to. We share notifications for events, and just generally stay in touch, and also share business tips, share job opportunities, so just to stay in touch. But then for the club, for promoting the club, we share information on Instagram, on our Instagram handle. And our other clubs also have their own Instagram handles as well. So Nigeria is taking a step in the right direction. We're refurbishing the federation is refurbishing its website. So we're going to have a new website very soon, and it's going to be very interactive, and we're looking forward to that. So that's what we're doing in Nigeria. I don't know if Tomi would
Great.
like to add anything for the Lagos Nigeria group.
Okay, anyone else want to add for Lagos? I guess you said it all, Homa-san. Okay, I also mentioned about Hong Kong. I'm the founding president of Hong Kong chapter, the current Hong Kong chapter 5 years ago. There was a previous one. Obviously, I'm no longer president there, and in fact, I'm just living there part-time now. But I will mention that, of course, they have a Facebook presence. They have maybe an even more active presence on LinkedIn, but WhatsApp has been critical to the communication within the club. Of course, that's not public, so we need these public platforms as well to draw members. And some of our members have come to us through LinkedIn specifically. But the first year that we formed the club, I don't know why, because Hong Kong is very dependent on WhatsApp, but I didn't even think to use it, nor did any of the rest of the executive. And we were trying a Facebook group to get people to communicate, and many things that just really didn't work. And once we created a WhatsApp group, at least for our internal communications, suddenly BPW Hong Kong was in the palm of everyone's hand, and it became extremely active. And it also wasn't just being driven from the executive to the members, it was completely all the members engaging. And everything that you just mentioned, from job opportunities to events in and out of BPW that people might want to join, to news and changes in law and regulations about gender issues and so on. And of course, our own events. So these are different things. That's usually for communication, intra-group communication, and the social media platforms we're looking to engage with the public and draw them to us. So they're both very worthwhile. Anyone else want to share about, or maybe you still have a question for our speaker, or want to share about your own club or federation? So then I'll go on to one more question before we close today, and that's, what can we be doing better? Joe and many others have identified that we have a PR problem. We're not doing PR well enough. Tomi has told us many things that we can do for PR generally and specific to social media. But let's open it up to a PR strategy. What can BPW be doing better for PR locally, nationally, globally? Anybody? Tomi, do you have any recommendations for us? Well, think about it. I see Nilima just was ready to speak. I'm coming to you next, Tomi.
The one of the problem that I've seen in the last 3 years being in international position is that though we have, partnership with so many big organizations, there are so many platforms that is being offered by this organization. Let's say for ITC, International Trade Center, they are our partner organization, and they give free trainings and they offer a lot for the business women, but that is not being addressed to the BPW members. I think this is something not just national to be aware of. I think personally, I think all the young representatives, if you are the young representative of your country or your club, you need to be aware of what BPW has to do with other organization or has within BPW as well. There are a lot of opportunities for young members, whether it is to be a speaker or to be, to be a part of some, movement, like there was Beijing Plus 25 youth committee that was formed. And I remember we were supposed to send someone from BPW to be a part of it, just nominate from BPW. And it was so hard to reach out to everyone because not everyone is, taking the job or responsibility the way they're supposed to. And I think in that way we miss out on the people who are very passionate about it. So I think we need to be aware that I try to make sure that in Facebook, if you see in BPW International, Young BPW International Facebook, I try to post everything that our partner organization is doing and they have to offer, and everything that UN is doing in order we are aware what's happening around the world. Not just about while we are posting it, whether it is on Facebook or in Instagram or any social media that we are using for our organization. I think besides the inspirational quotes and the videos of inspirational women, we also need to make sure that we provide certain information in which the young members can engage themselves. I think in that way people will look into it again and again and see if there is something for me as well. So that is what I have seen missing in lots of clubs, which I think the members, even the young, you need to find the right representative for yourself who is ready to serve for the members. Yep.
Thanks, Nilima. Tomi, advice for better PR strategy for BPW? Aside from everything you said to us.
That we should really focus on our content and promoting our content. For instance, content like this, if possible, if we can, we should also do social media marketing, because sometimes you mean to want to watch these things, but you forget because there's so many things that you're doing. So you want to be able to put it in their faces at every now and then. This is what's going on. This is how you can get involved. This is what you're going to benefit, and just really putting it there. So content and marketing is very important, and promotion in this sense, depending on what you want to achieve.
So before you said marketing and you quickly laughed and corrected yourself and said, I mean PR, and they are different, but we are absolutely also marketing. We are not looking for customers, but we are looking for new members. So there's a fine line sometimes between these two. I have in the chat, first of all, Valerie from Singapore says more partnerships with other organizations. And I would add to that and say, we need to reactivate our current partnerships. We have half a dozen partnerships that are really international top-level entities like UN Women and ITC and many others. In a few years, let's say, we have not had any activity with them. So we need to re-engage in those partnerships as they were in the not distant past, not so long ago. They were much more active. So certainly, and consider more partnerships with other organizations for sure. Joe in UK says, shout out about our achievements. So in all the ways that Tomi has been saying, talk about what BPW is actually doing, what we've achieved in advocacy, the events that we're doing, the education that we're offering to our members, and so on. Heini in BPW Finland says use, actually this is more about their PR platform, so you can read that in the chat. I'm looking to see if she's written anything about, well, she has a question here for you, Tomi, but I'll come back to that in just a minute. We have Louisa saying we could organize communication working groups and organize brainstorming sessions to create a strategy. So that's certainly something, and that is being worked on, Louisa. So that's great minds think alike. Ogechi says, I'm not sure what club, but maybe she's in Nigeria with you, possibly. Tomi, collaborate with other professional groups. So we were mentioning that the partnerships that we have training and leadership workshops for members and the public. So we can do a lot of PR every time we have an event or training. And consider a CSR to adopt. Yes, BPW could have a clear CSR policy and should. Other comments, be more visible in the social space, have yearly calendars. And that's also Ogechi. And I think that's the last comment. So I'm going to go back up to Heini's question, which is to you, Tomi. Do we have multiple people updating social media, or is it the responsibility of one person? This is kind of a tricky question. What do you think?
No, it's not. It should be a team of people actually doing it. But in cases where you don't have enough volunteers in those areas, well, whoever is volunteering would have to put in their best.
Okay. For me, that's a tricky question because the more people you involve, the less consistent the messaging. So, and if the messaging is consistent, it often means that one person is deciding the messaging, like the president, and then you have a team that's just typing it online. So somewhere between the two, certainly I agree with you to have a team, but you have to also ensure that your messaging is consistent. And as an alternative to that, I would recommend social aggregators. The number one of those, if you don't know what that is Hootsuite. And there are other newer forms of that, but number one in terms of usage in the world is something called Hootsuite, hootsuite.com, HOOTSUITE.com. This is when you can put in multiple, you connect it to multiple social media platforms, and then you go just to that site to put in your message, including attachments with media and so on, and it can go out to all of your media, and you have an option to schedule that in advance as well. So using an aggregator can make the job much easier, and then you absolutely have consistent messaging because the same thing always goes out to all of the platforms. So that's another thing that people can consider using. Okay, so I will put it in the chat quickly. Someone has just asked about that. So let me, hootsuite.com, there you are. Okay, so as we are getting ready to close now, it's at our closing time. I want to just mention to all of you that if you want a copy of this chat, because there are some good things in there, you need to open up the chat, go to the bottom as if you were going to write a message, so where the prompt is at the bottom of it to write your message, but on the right-hand side after the word file, you will see 3 dots for a menu, and if you click on that, save chat is the first option. So I'll give you a minute to save chat, but then we're going to close this room. So if you do want to save the chat, you should do it now, and it will save it to your computer. Another tip. So we want to thank our speaker, Tomi, wonderful, wonderful stuff, an actress, but also a PR entrepreneur, as we know. So you are a specialist in this area. Nilima talked a lot about your acting, but I know that PR is really also your field. So we want to emphasize that. Thank you for your expertise today. And we want to thank all of you for coming and joining this webinar. And we certainly invite you to future webinars. We have 3 in July, so check our Facebook event page. Yes, Facebook is where to go at this point for the event page. And so starting with July 15th, which will be our next live webinar, and Valerie, who's in the room, will be talking about the branding of BPW. And then we have 2 more in July. So look for those pages. We also invite you to go to YouTube and just search BPW Goes Digital. We have 14 videos up there so far, and we just started a month ago. So we are going very strong and looking to have as many videos up there to help our BPW community as we can. We are aiming for 2 things: digital capacity building for all BPW members and youth leadership by having our younger members lead the way as our training team. So thank you all for coming. Do check out those videos, pass the information along to your affiliate, and bye for now.